Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive on happy feet.
Happy feet.
You guys sent in a ton of articles about how the right shoes can help with, foot problems,
hmm
prevent them, maybe even fix them you might already have. So get ready, we're going to be like shoe detectives.
It's interesting because something as simple as what shoes you decide to wear can really impact your overall health.
Really?
It's not just about comfort, it's about how your body moves and preventing problems down the road.
Okay, now I'm curious. We've all had sore feet after a long day, right?
Wow.
But I never thought about it like that. So where do we even begin with this whole shoe thing?
Well, let's start with the foundation,
Okay.
literally. Think about your feet like the base of a house. I mean, you wouldn't build a house on a shaky ground, would you?
No.
Same with your feet. They need a good, strong base, and that's where the right shoe features really matter.
Got it. So we're building the base for happy feet. What are the key things we should be looking for in a shoe to make sure it's a good foundation?
So arch support, that's number one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Think of it like having support beams for your arches. It helps spread your weight evenly, less stress on your feet. There was even a study that found people who wear shoes with good arch support had 67% lower risk of pain in their heels.
Wow, that's a big difference. I can see how skipping that could cause problems later on.
Exactly.
All right, so arch support check. What else?
Cushioning is another biggie.
Oh, yeah, cushioning.
It's like having little shock absorbers built in, protecting your joints every time you take a step. Especially important in the heel and the front of your foot, the forefoot.
So it's not just about being comfy. It's about, wear and tear on your joints over time.
You got it. Could actually even slow down arthritis developing down the line.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Never really thought about how much my shoes affect my overall health.
Right, and this is where it gets even more interesting. The material the shoe's made of is super important for how it actually does all this.
Okay, let's talk about materials.
Hmm.
What should we look for to get that support and cushioning we just talked about?
For breathability, natural materials are best, like leather and canvas. Also mesh, those are good too.
Yeah.
Let your feet breathe,
That.
You don't want sweaty feet,
Ugh, no thank you.
because then you can get fungal infections and stuff.
Right, so breathable materials are key for keeping everything fresh and healthy down there.
Right. And then for cushioning, materials like EVA, it's a type of foam, that's awesome for absorbing shock.
EVA foam, check.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about flexibility? I feel like we need shoes that move with our feet, not against them.
Exactly. Flexibility is really important because it allows for natural movement,
Yeah.
helps you walk properly. Shoes shouldn't be too stiff. They got to be able to bend with your foot when you're walking or running.
So finding the balance between support and flexibility.
Right.
Speaking of balance, what about heel height? Does that play a role in preventing foot problems?
Oh, yeah, big time. High heels, stylish, but they can shift your weight forward,
Okay.
put a lot of pressure on the ball of your foot.
Okay.
And that can lead to pain, bunions, even hammer toes over time.
Ouch. So maybe those sky-high heels are best saved for special occasions then?
That's a good rule of thumb. Sticking to a lower heel or even flats can make a huge difference for comfort and, long-term foot health. It's about stopping those problems before they even start.
All right, so we've got arch support, cushioning, breathability, flexibility, and heel height. Seems like we have a pretty good checklist for healthy shoes.
Yeah.
What about people who already have foot pain or problems, though? Can the right shoes still help them?
For sure. If you're already dealing with discomfort, the right shoes can be a total game changer.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Help relieve pain, provide support, even help correct some conditions.
That's awesome. So how do you find those magic shoes if your feet are already bothering you?
Well, you need to figure out what your specific needs are.
Right.
Let's say you have plantar fasciitis, that's a common one, causes pain in your heel.
Oh, yeah, heard of that.
You'd want to look for shoes with really good arch support and cushioning.
So it's about choosing shoe features based on the problem you have. It seems like there's a lot to think about, but it's encouraging to know the right shoes can really make a difference, even if you're already having issues.
Definitely. And remember, if you're not sure what type of shoe is best for you, it's always a good idea to talk to, like a podiatrist or a shoe specialist.
Good point. Getting an expert opinion is never a bad idea when it comes to your health.
Exactly.
I feel like we've covered a lot of ground already, but I'm ready to dive deeper into specific conditions and how shoes can help prevent or treat them.
All right, let's do it. Let's explore how choosing the right shoes can actually help with those pesky foot problems that can, stop you in your tracks. So let's talk about that plantar fasciitis we touched on earlier, that stabbing pain in your heel.
Oh yeah, I hear it's really common, especially for runners. What can happen if you wear the wrong shoes? Does it make it worse?
Well, think about it. If you're out there pounding the pavement, In shoes that don't have good arch support,
Hmm.
that thick band of tissue on the bottom of your foot, it's called the plantar fascia, it gets stretched and strained with every step.
Like a rubber band, snapping back over and over again. No
Exactly.
wonder it gets inflamed.
Right. But the good news is, wearing shoes with good arch support and cushioning can actually help, reduce the strain and help it heal.
So the right shoes can actually be like therapeutic.
Totally. They can help with the pain and support the healing process. And it's the same idea for other conditions too, like Achilles tendonitis, where that tendon connecting your calf muscle to your heel gets inflamed.
Interesting. So it's not just about preventing these problems, but also managing them if they happen.
You got it. Shoes can be a big part of the treatment plan. Now let's talk about something that affects the toes,
Yeah.
both bunions.
Bunions, I know those bony bumps at the base of the big toe can be really painful and can even change the shape of your foot. Is there a connection to shoes there?
Oh, a big one. Shoes that are too narrow or pointy in the toe box,
Yeah.
they can squeeze your toes together and force that big toe joint to, turn inward.
Okay.
And over time, that pressure can cause bunions to develop or, make existing ones worse.
So it's like the shoe is slowly forcing your foot into the wrong shape.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And it's not just high heels either. Some flats or even sneakers can be too tight in the toe box.
So what can you do to prevent bunions? Or
Right.
at least not make them worse if you have them?
Well, the key is making sure you've got enough room in the toe box of your shoes. You should be able to spread your toes out comfortably. And look for shoes with a wider toe box so your foot can, sit naturally.
Got it. So no more cramming my toes into pointy shoes, even if they look cute. Are there any other foot conditions that the right shoes can help with?
Definitely. Let's talk about metatarsalgia. It's a condition that causes pain and inflammation in the ball of your foot, right under those long bones called the metatarsals.
Oh, okay. So that's the part of your foot that really takes a beating when you're walking or running.
Yeah, exactly. And the wrong shoes can make it so much worse.
I can imagine.
If you're wearing shoes that don't have enough cushioning or arch support,
Uh-huh.
you're basically putting all that extra stress on your metatarsals.
So it's like walking barefoot on concrete all the time.
Pretty much. But again, the right shoes can make all the difference. Shoes with good cushioning, especially in the forefoot, that's key
Okay.
to absorb the shock and reduce the pressure on the metatarsals.
So it's about giving those parts of your foot that extra support and padding they need. I'm seeing a pattern here. Good arch support and cushioning seem to be the heroes for preventing and dealing with a lot of foot problems.
You got it. Those two things are super important. They work together to create a, balanced and supportive environment for your feet.
Makes sense. I'm curious, what about people with flat feet or overpronation? Do they need to be extra careful about certain shoe features?
Oh, for sure. People with flat feet where the arch collapses inward or overpronation where the foot rolls inward too much when they walk, it's super important for them to choose shoes with stability features.
So those are the shoes that kind of have built-in orthotics giving extra support where they need it?
Exactly. Those shoes will often have things like medial posts. It's a firmer part on the inside of the sole.
Oh,
Or they might have motion control features that limit how much the foot rolls inward.
so they're like guardrails for your feet, keeping them from going in the wrong direction.
Love that analogy. And for people with high arches, which can also cause pain and instability, it's important to look for shoes with good cushioning and flexibility.
So finding the right shoes is like a personal puzzle. You have to consider your foot type, any problems you're already having, and what you do every day.
That's exactly right. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. And speaking of personalized approaches, there's a really cool new development in footwear. Personalized shoe technology.
Oh, whoa, personalized shoes. That sounds like something from the future. Tell me more.
Imagine shoes that are custom made to the exact shape of your feet. That's what this tech is all about. They use things like 3D scanning or other fancy imaging techniques to make a digital map of your foot.
Okay.
And then they make shoes based on that information.
So it's like having shoes that are sculpted just for you. What are the benefits of that?
Well, the benefits are huge, especially for preventing and managing foot problems. Shoes that fit perfectly can eliminate those pressure points, give you the best support, and help you walk in a natural and healthy way. And for people who are already dealing with things like bunions or plantar fasciitis, Personalized shoes can be amazing for comfort and pain relief.
That's so cool, but I bet it's still really expensive, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's not really common yet. It's still pretty new, and the cost is a big factor. But, as technology keeps getting better and more affordable, I think we'll see personalized shoes becoming more and more popular.
That's definitely something to watch for. Having shoes that are made just for your feet, that's pretty amazing. So we've learned so much today from how shoes and foot conditions are connected to the newest stuff in footwear. What are some things our listeners should remember?
I think the most important thing to remember is that your shoes really matter more than you might realize. They can either help or hurt your foot health, which, affects your whole body.
It's like we've been walking around not paying attention to how our shoes are affecting us. But now we're seeing things more clearly thanks to this deep dive. What else should we think about as we go on our mission to find the perfect shoes?
Remember, picking the right shoes is a way to take care of yourself. It's about listening to your feet, figuring out what you need, and making choices that help you feel good and stay healthy.
That's a great way to look at it. It's not just about fashion or what's trendy. It's about taking care of your well-being.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. There are experts out there, like podiatrists and shoe specialists, who can help you find the right fit for you.
That's good to know. So we've given our listeners some knowledge, but now it's time for them to use it. What are some practical steps they can take to find those perfect shoes?
Okay, so first, figure out your foot type.
All right.
Do you have high arches, flat feet, or somewhere in between? Are there any issues you're trying to address?
Gathering info about our feet and our lifestyle.
Right. And then think about what you do every day. Are you a runner? A walker? Do you stand on your feet a lot for work?
Okay, got it. What comes next?
Next, time to hit the shoe stores.
Um,
But not just any shoe store. Look for stores that specialize in shoes and have staff who really know their stuff and can help you find the right fit.
so we're looking for shoe experts, not just salespeople.
Exactly. And don't be shy about asking questions, trying on different styles, and really feeling how the shoes support your feet. And this is the most important part. Listen to your feet.
Okay.
If a shoe doesn't feel good, don't buy it, no matter how good it looks.
Our feet know best. They're the ones doing all the work.
They are your built-in experts. Trust their feedback and put comfort above everything else.
Talking about all these foot problems and what to look for in shoes, it really makes you realize how complicated our feet are.
They are.
Like, we don't even think about them, but they're like these little machines.
It's true. Our feet are like a masterpiece of engineering. 26 bones, 33 joints, over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments, all working together to, carry our weight and move us forward.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you really think about it. And it makes sense that we got to take care of them, starting with the right shoes.
Exactly. It's about respecting those complex structures and giving them the support they need to work their best.
Now, we've talked about shoes in general,
Mm-hmm.
but what about if you do specific things like running or hiking? Do you need special shoes for that?
Absolutely. It's like you wouldn't use a screwdriver to hammer in a nail. You wouldn't wear your everyday shoes to run a marathon either. Different activities, they put different demands on your feet. So you need shoes that are designed for those specific demands.
Okay, so matching the shoe to the activity. What kind of things should runners look for in their shoes?
For runners, cushioning is key.
Yeah.
You need something that can absorb all those impacts, hitting the ground over and over again, mile after mile. Look for shoes with lots of cushioning in the heel and the forefoot, especially if you're running on concrete or asphalt.
So those are the shoes that make you feel like you're running on clouds.
Yes, exactly. And on top of cushioning, runners also need stability and support, especially if they have flat feet or overpronate. Look for things like medial posts or motion control features that help keep your foot moving naturally.
So it's all about protecting those joints and preventing injuries. What about hikers? What should they be thinking about when they're choosing shoes?
For hikers, you got to have ankle support and good traction, especially if you're going on rough trails.
Right.
Look for shoes that have high tops. Those will give you ankle stability. And sturdy outsoles, with deep lugs that really grip the ground so you don't slip and fall.
It sounds like picking the right shoes for different activities is a whole science. Where can people go to get advice from the experts?
Specialty shoe stores are great for that.
Yeah.
They usually have people who really know their stuff about different kinds of shoes and can help you find the right ones for, what you're doing and your foot type.
So gotta find those shoe gurus who can really guide you.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask a ton of questions. Try on lots of different pairs until you find what feels right.
Like finding the Goldilocks of shoes, not too tight, not too loose, just right.
That's a great way to put it. And remember, getting the right shoes, it's an investment in your health and how much you enjoy doing the things you love. Happy feet mean you can go explore, run that marathon, climb that mountain, with confidence.
I love that. So as we wrap up our deep dive into happy feet, what final bits of wisdom do you have for our listeners as they, search for that perfect fit?
I would say listen to your feet. They'll tell you what they need. Don't ignore those aches and pains. Pay attention to how different shoes feel, and don't be afraid to try different things until you find what works for you.
It's all about being aware and taking care of our feet. And like you said before, choosing the right shoes, it's a way to take care of ourselves. It shows our bodies that we care.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
All right, everyone, now go out there and walk, run, hike, dance, whatever you love to do
Yeah.
with happy and healthy feet. Thanks for joining us on this awesome journey into the world of foot health.
Until next time, keep those feet happy and those steps confident.